Is that your computer?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Spyshack podcast, the podcast where super fans get together and talk about the latest episode of Survivor. I'm sorry, I hear myself on someone's screen. Okay, I think that's right. Okay. So, want to welcome everybody, guys. I'm really messing up because I haven't been here for like a month, guys. Sorry. So,
he was so devastated by his coal loss. It took him out for a real long time.
Yeah, I mean, losing my team like a half season is it's not the greatest thing for us to be having, especially for your host. Okay, so I'm still picking myself up on someone's feed. I'm not sure exactly who it is. Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear anything back.
Okay. Well, we're letting people join us on the chat. If you're in the chat, go ahead and let us know, and we'll be able to communicate with you during the episode. So let's just jump in. We're gonna go ahead and talk about episode 13 of Survivor: Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers. And want to join my group, my co-host. Kim, how are you doing today? And what is your one word to describe the episode?
Stupidity.
How about you, Mark? How are you doing today? And what's your one word?
I'm okay today. My word of the day would be unnecessary.
And Doug is back. This time he's not subbing for me. He's subbing for Randy. So we're going to call him New Doug for today. How are you doing today, Doug? And what is your word for the episode?
I'm doing great. I was really nervous I wouldn't be able to be here because I lost my voice yesterday, but it's back. So I'm here.
Yes.
And I didn't prepare. My word is #wow.
I'm your host, Perspective, and like I said, I might be a little bit rusty. I've been gone for almost a month already. But I want to thank the guys for holding down the fort without me here, and especially Randy, who's been taking over the hosting job. But thank you guys. Thank you for anyone who's actually been tweeting at me and messaging me to see how I was doing. I'm taking care of some stuff, but we're good, and I should be back for this week, and we might be able to bring someone in a couple of weeks. So I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but we might have a special guest in a couple of weeks.
I hope so.
All right, guys. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and just jump into this this episode. The second to the last episode, if I guess second to the last week, because the next episode is broken up to two. But let's go ahead and get back to the camp right after the vote. And we're talking about everyone's pretty much is talking about making sure that Ben's next, right? What do you guys think of the interactions between the people back at camp? Would you guys be for voting Ben now if you're out there? Would you guys be looking for someone else that might be a little bit more, I guess, easier to get a vote against?
I loved that Devin told Ben, you should have voted me. You should have voted me out. Because basically, I'm gunning for you. I loved it. I thought it was great. I love that Devin didn't care. And he let Ben know, you are our next target. So I enjoyed it because I like Devin, and Ben sometimes aggravates me.
Mark?
I think Ben should have, known by, all the votes going to him that he was going to be targeted, and that he would continue to be a target after that. So I mean, he's doing whatever he can to try to shift things to his favor, but I'm not sure if that line with Devin was the best.
Doug?
Yeah, I think it's great for TV when we get to see bad gameplay, and I think we've seen a lot of bad gameplay.
Well,
yes,
we've seen plenty, and the only person who was good afterwards without being dramatic or nasty again was Ryan, because he doesn't show his emotions like Devin does or Chrissy does. Ashley kind of keeps it quiet too, but Ryan said something, I forgot what it was, about basically, well, you know what? It's over, it's cool, it's like a new day, and that was it.
He tried to make a joke about like the idol play, saying like that was almost as good as mine, and it fell flat.
Yeah.
I'm done with idols though. There's just way too many of them. I am just tired of all these idols. It kind of ruins the game, and I'm sick of them. They have to do something different with idols. They have to change how the idols are played. Maybe 2 per, alliance, not alliance, tribe. I don't know. Enough. Way too many.
I was just really hoping they wouldn't do one at Final 6. After last season, I know that Jeff loved the whole, Advantage Geddon thing, but I don't know. They misread that so hard.
It was horrible. I will never forget what happened to Saray. It was absolutely horrible. It was one of the worst tribals ever.
Yeah,
like just give us a Final 6. It's okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I think by that time it's great that we just have the players just play it out, and we don't have to worry about the idols. I don't necessarily mind the idols. It's just that so much playing out through the season, especially some that with some that don't even work. It kind of just dilutes the whole. It dilutes what the idol used to do back in the day.
Right. Well, because what about outwitting, outplaying, out everything? It's just basically how many idols can I find so I can get to the end.
So let's talk about the next morning when Ben wakes up early, starts looking for the idol. Everyone kind of just like, he's probably looking for the idol. Just hope he doesn't find it. What the hell? And this is, I guess, what Doug was talking about bad gameplay. Why would you let?
That's my stupidity.
Yeah. Why would you let somebody just go and look for?
They just let him look. No one followed him. He's like, yeah, Chris. He's like, he's been gone about 45 minutes or so. Go look. Go find him. So, what do you mean? You're the one who you and Cole were digging like crazy after an idol under a flag, and you're letting Ben just go look for an idol on his own? Whatever. They were so dumb. It was just pure stupidity, and that's where my stupidity comes from. I would never let someone have that much free range to go look for an idol.
Yeah, and actually, Randy's in the live chat, and he still holds his wrench, waving it at Doug there. But he says the only reason there's been so many idols is because people have been using them this season, which is true.
That's fine.
There wasn't a lot of idols in Game Changers, but because everyone hoarded them, but they all came out at once. So, I mean, I prefer them to be used and more during the season, as long as they're being used and not being hoarded to like they did in Game Changers.
Yeah, but I'd rather them used and disposed of. That's it. They're done. We're not putting idols back in every time. And if you do, make them hard to find. Have them solve a puzzle. It's so. I mean, seriously.
At this point, I think they're just following. At this point, I think they're just following Ben and putting it wherever he is.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Oh, we did kind of have. We had that same question about Adam last season. I mean, in Gen X, Gen X, we asked him how convenient was it that he just tripped over the idol at the very end. But from when we talked to Adam, I think Adam said it wasn't that easy for him to find it, and he actually had been looking for it for quite a while.
They really have to hide them at Tribal. That's where I want to see an idol hidden. Hide it at Tribal.
I think they're gonna keep that for returnee seasons, which I don't mind making it harder for them to. But I don't want them to be some in at challenges and some at camp, because then you it's not as easy to get them at challenges as it is to find them in camp. So keep them in challenge. If you're gonna keep them in challenges, find them in challenges.
Unless it's just a plain white shell in the middle of the challenge, because that one's hard to find.
All right, so let's we spend a lot of time here at the post tribals. Let's go over to the reward challenge. And I don't know if we've talked about those before, but have you guys noticed that there has been no tree mail? And I don't even remember seeing if there was tree mail back in Game Changers or not. That's how they just got rid of it all of a sudden.
Oh, you're right.
because we just go to the challenge now. We don't have anything else. We just go to the challenge. What do you guys think of this particular reward challenge?
I liked both of the challenges, and this one I thought was good because it was nice to see them like paired up. I don't love when they put them in teams, but pairs for some reason make an interesting dynamic.
But the challenge itself,
I agree. I thought this was a fun challenge.
Randy says Gmail's out because it's outdated and everyone uses email anyway. So. Tree email. So no, yeah, this is the challenge where they put them in pairs. They have to do that little rope. What is it called? Rope maze thing.
Together, they gotta go under, over, under.
How bad is Ryan at this challenge? I mean, we've seen him be bad. He's worse than Dave at the beginning of Millennials Gen X, where he's.
Was he good at any challenges?
I don't think.
No, Brady hasn't been good at. I don't think anything. Maybe one challenge. He was kind of good at Amos one, but that.
I think you just called Ryan Randy.
Ryan is good enough at challenges to survive in like the team portion where nobody's like, oh, he's really holding us up. But I don't know that he's been particularly good at anything individual. He also hasn't really needed to be.
Yeah, because he hasn't been the target of anything. At the end of the day, what was it? Devin and Chrissy win the reward challenge, and they get the chance to take someone with them and reward where it's going to be a buffet and this whole thing. And Chrissy, yeah, and the thing is that Chrissy kind of just convinces Devin, and we don't know how long they were talking, but it looks like it was just like, we should have Ryan. Ryan deserves it. And Ryan goes with them. What the hell is that?
Don't know.
Well, Chrissy is close to Ryan. Of course she's going to pick Ryan. And
Devin.
Chrissy doesn't like women, so there was no way she was taking Ashley because too much attention would have been put on Ashley and taken away from Chrissy. So I'm not surprised Ryan was chosen. I am a little surprised by Ashley's reaction because it was so obvious. She was really mad.
Yeah, well, that was actually foreshadowing what happens at the end of the episode. We'll talk about Ashley's reaction at the end of the episode there in a little bit. So yeah, so I mean, I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as Ashley was that Ryan was taken. Not only that he was taken, but it was just so easy for Devin just to say, okay, yeah, go for it. Ryan's the one that's gonna go. Randy says that he fully supports Devin's decision to side with Chrissy. I mean, if Devin makes it with anyone except for Ben, I think he has the best shot of winning, right? I mean, as long as he doesn't go with Ben.
Yeah, Ben needs to go for anybody to have a shot at this point, because Ben has found how many hidden idols by now? 3, I think. And he's won 2 individual immunity challenges.
Who's won 2 immunity challenges?
Ben.
I don't think he's won.
I don't think he won any individual wins.
Ashley,
okay, he doesn't need to.
Won 2 each.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Did he?
But he's shifted the vote so many times in his favor from such a disadvantage. I think anybody would lose to Ben if they don't take him out before final 3.
And they're not going to, because Ben has been getting that winning edit for quite some time.
You know, edit is edit. I choose not to believe in that kind of an edit, but there is some truth to that. I just choose not to read into it way too much.
Especially in the last season and this season, I think the editors have tried to throw us off a little bit more than they used to. So I don't know. Maybe they're just building them up to see Ben fall at the finale. So.
Well, my hope is that because Ben looks so much, not physically, but like his situation in the game looks so much like a Mike Holloway situation. My hope is that they're allowing it to look that way to set him up for the twist that he doesn't actually win. You know?
Yeah, that would be I think the best thing for Survivor, to be like, oh, you thought he was gonna win, right? Because we've heard it from other podcasts with Robin and Steven that they think that actually there's such a winner edit that they've caught on to it that they want to actually kind of switch it back and make it look like there's a winner's edit, but they're really not, because the whole thing about Survivor editors has been that they have always denied that there's a winner edit. but there's also a story they need to tell, and usually the winner is within that story. So of course he's going to get more airtime, especially towards the end. Randy says Ben's winner edit is so obvious that it's become a loser edit, which is what I think Doug is just saying.
Yeah.
Before before Chrissy, Ryan, and Devin go to the reward challenge, we get that little interlude where we see Mike, Ben, and Ashley back at camp, and we have that. I don't know if it's considered awkward or not, but we have that interaction with Mike and Ben. Doug, what did you think of that interaction
between Mike and Ben?
Yeah.
During the reward, when
I actually thought it was fine, and I thought it was fine of Mike. Mike is in this weird position where he can kind of do literally whatever he wants. He's in like a similar space to where Joe was. So I think, honestly, any sort of rabble-rousing Mike can kind of do, or any sort of thing where Mike can try to push buttons to figure out what ticks other people off as well and then latch onto that and like carry that, is not necessarily a bad look for Mike.
And he's been able to do that since they've pretty much found out that the healers were fractured, right? He said right away, as soon as Jessica went home, he's going to be pretty much just pointing the finger at someone else so that they can be the ones that get voted out instead of him, which he's been, I think, able to do efficiently without looking like a bad guy.
But what did
the
you
problem
think
is,
about?
I just don't know how much it translates to a jury, right? Because so much of that happens on the beach, and I'm nervous for Dr. Mike that he won't be able to convince anybody that was an actual driving force. But I don't think it's the wrong thing to do.
I don't think I agree with you with there. But what do you think about Mike being mad that Ryan was picked to go to reward? He said first he says Ryan is young. He's the youngest out of all of us. He doesn't need the energy, the food. And then he talks about how Ryan can't do anything, all in the same breath. And Ryan didn't deserve it. He was the least deserving. What did you think?
I don't think any of his points were good, but I loved that he did it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I mean, I was just like, how can he say Ryan needs it the least? But
but put the spotlight on Ryan. You know, like, why is no one looking at Ryan? So Mike's like, hey, here are your flashing lights. Let's be mad at Ryan now.
I think he's able to. Yeah, I think he's able to like I said, I think he's able to get the spotlight and face it to someone. As long as it's not him, he's able to get the target on someone else, or at least get people thinking, hey, why is this happening? Like that, and it gets the focus off him. And like I said, it's kind of worked so far.
And nobody's even talking about targeting Ryan.
So let's go to the immunity challenge, because this is the type of immunity challenge.
Wait. Can we talk about the interaction between Ben and Ashley though? I thought that was so good. Like I really like Ashley. I think up until a few episodes ago, she was totally sleeping, and I think it's Ashley doesn't make great TV because I actually think she's been playing such a strong game. Ashley is like rock solid, and like we got to see it. Where Ben is basically trying to poke and prod in a similar way to how Joe was, and Ashley like just wasn't having it and was saying like, that's fine, you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can think whatever you want, you're where you are, I'm where I am. And it's like, I kind of thought that was good. Was I the only one who thought that the way she was acting was like pretty solid?
Yeah, I think you're right. And do you possibly think that Ashley didn't get that great of an edit because they didn't want fans to like her so much and then fall off when she gets voted out? Or
no, I just think that she was so effectively one note that it just doesn't make for great TV, right? It's almost like, I think it's a crime that Kelly Wigglesworth wasn't shown, but I think Kelly Wigglesworth was in a good spot the whole time because she was so straightforward, right? Cambodia, obviously. And so like we heard after the fact that Kelly Wigglesworth was considered a threat because she was so solid, so reliable, and just generally well liked. I actually think Ashley might be sort of in a similar position at this point, where she can say things like, I'm with Devin, and everyone's like, yeah, she's with Devin. And I don't know, her buttons don't get pushed very easily, even though we saw her get a little bit annoyed with Joe.
And Patty, I did see your comment about Chrissy and Ryan. I will get to that later on in the episode because that is something I want to go over at Tribal Council.
But I wanted to bring something up before we leave the whole reward thing. When they were on the reward, Devin, Chrissy, and Ryan, they all talked about who they were going to vote on next. Then they made their final 3. But I felt like that conversation was so staged. It just didn't feel genuine. Like they had to talk about something. So here, maybe they had the conversations 5 minutes before the camera got there, and they repeated the same thing again. It just didn't feel genuine to me when I watched it. Even as I rewatched it, it just felt staged.
Yeah, I just don't think Devin was just kind of awkward in that situation because he's not that close to either Chrissy or Ryan. He's closer with
well, anymore he isn't.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, he didn't really want a final 3 with these two, and so it was just kind of, you know, Ryan and Chrissy are on their own little thing, and Devin's in his own little thing. That's kind of how it felt to me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the immunity challenge. Once again, we go to the immunity challenge. This is one of my better. I like this immunity challenge better than a lot of the challenges we've had so far, especially for immunity challenges. We have had a lot of kind of endurance challenges. The other one with your feet and that. I mean, I prefer this type of challenge where it's a little bit of like kind of like stages. You have to get through one phase, then second phase, go up a little ladder, and do all that stuff. That's the kind of challenges I like. That's the kind of challenges I wish we continue seeing on Survivor.
Yes. Yeah.
I know there's not a lot sometimes they can do, especially since we've done so many challenges. But what do you guys think of the challenge? I think Doug already said he loved it.
I liked it. I don't love all stage-to-stage challenges, but I liked this one specifically because it was like a theme, right? Like, do this thing, get a ladder, go up. Do this thing, get a ladder, go up. And it was like a bunch of different things they had to do in order to continue advancing. As it didn't feel like a Mod Podge, like there was a theme to it.
Yes.
And this is the place where Chrissy threw up the first episode.
That was so funny that Jeff said that.
I know.
Especially because not everyone was there.
Oh, that's right. Everybody had left already.
Yeah.
I liked the challenge. I do like, excuse me, sorry, the continuation, but there's different obstacles to have to go through. And then you have this puzzle at the end because it is really anyone's game when you have all of that. Anything could happen. Anyone can catch up. I want excitement. I want to feel like something could happen, and it can go to anybody.
This one was so close, too. Like,
so
Randy's saying
close.
he hates when everybody runs together the whole way and then sit on a puzzle for 30 minutes. But I liked this one because everyone was very close together the whole time. It wasn't one of those things where, like, somebody was so behind and then somebody else was in the middle and then they were able to catch up and just, like, come from behind. I know that's exciting and it makes for good TV, but I would much rather see them, like, fighting every leg of the way.
Yes.
Yeah. And what do you guys think of the puzzle? This is not the first time we have a cog puzzle, right? This puzzle's been done before.
Cass won. Did Cass win or almost win a cog puzzle?
Almost, I think.
Remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
so
there was one in Kagayan for sure.
Yeah.
So I really do like this puzzle. There's all these there's the cogs, and then there's the spokes, are they called? And there's more spokes than cogs, and you don't need every single one of them. So it makes it a little bit harder to figure out exactly where to put these cogs. Really liked it. Unfortunately, Chrissy won. I'm not a biggest fan of Chrissy. Yeah. I was liking her. I was really liking her at the beginning of the season. I really started at about episode 2 or 3, and then she just fell off for me. Same thing with Ryan. But
I told Doug. I told Doug last week, this is the non-liking Chrissy podcast. No one in this podcast likes her.
I think Randy likes her.
Randy does not like Chrissy.
Well, I am Randy this week, so I will speak on Randy's behalf. And Randy says that Chrissy's the greatest survivor ever, and that he can't wait to see her win and come back 4 times and be the new queen.
Oh my God! Somebody came on my Twitter and they told me that they love Chrissy, and I try so hard to restrain myself and try to and trying not to like reply anything mean to them. Then I completely stopped myself before I did that. So
and let's get this straight. We don't hate Chrissy personally.
No. That's it. I don't know.
No,
if
I don't.
on a personal
I think
level.
I think she's actually been really done really well on Twitter and on social media, but on the character that she's portrayed or that she's been portrayed as is what I think when she turned, did that little turn.
Her.
Yeah,
I'm strictly judging her on Survivor.
Well,
I don't follow her on social media, so I don't know anything that she posts. She can be a terrific, amazing woman in her normal, regular, everyday life, but on the show Survivor, she makes me want to throw something at my TV.
and the thing is that she took out Allie, so that was one of my favorites beginning. So that's the reason why I ended up turning on her.
Chrissy slayed everyone's faves. Everyone had faves, and Chrissy came by and just.
Yeah.
No, she didn't take my fave out. Ben took my fave out, which was Lauren, and my other fave is still there. And I don't think she'll take him out, so I think Ryan is safe.
Okay.
Okay, so Chrissy wins. All right, Chrissy wins immunity. We go back to camp, and once again, Ben is looking out for the idol, and no one
sitting in the water and not doing crap. And I was so mad. I'm like, you're talking about voting somebody out that's actively looking for a freaking idol, and you're saying I don't think he'll find it. Well, then stop him from finding it.
Why wasn't anybody following him?
Thank you.
Why wasn't anybody following him? And why was Chrissy sitting by the camp?
I was so mad.
What the heck was going on?
Right?
Oh
Don't think he doesn't have it. Go make sure he doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
So angry.
And understand, every one of them at that point deserved to go home.
Yeah.
Because nobody looked. Nobody stopped him from looking. I would have followed him around like a puppy dog.
There were five of them. All against one person. Beyond shifts.
Shit.
Like, buddy up.
No way. He wouldn't have found it.
Tell me, guys, what do you prefer? On an episode where no one follows the person looking for the idol and he finds it, or everyone following that person and he doesn't find it?
I hate that both, but I would have respected them more if they at least tried.
Yeah.
Is Randy saying anything in the chat?
Fear the wrench.
He's just leaving us.
Boy.
We're gonna have to make Randy a shirt that says #Fear the Wrench. All right. And if you guys are just hearing us, whatever, you can't see the chat. If you're in the chat, you'll know what Fear the Wrench means. So we are. I think each one of us are upset at the poor gameplay that these survivors have shown in this episode. Now, maybe they did follow. Maybe we just didn't see. Maybe they followed him a little bit, and then they just got tired of following him around. I don't know. You know, we can only see a portion of what happens out there on the island. From what we saw, no one followed him. I didn't get to hear or read any of the exit press, so I don't know what Ashley said about what happened with that idol searcher. But Ashley at this point says she's more afraid that he might find the idol, and so she's smart. She's smart, and she's the one saying maybe we should split the votes with Mike, which I have no problem with Ashley saying that, because I think she has great gameplay, especially since no one's following Ben around and making sure he doesn't have the idol.
Well, and that's how you split it at 6, right? If you're worried somebody might have an idol, you can't do a conventional split, but what you can do is put all your votes on one person and one vote on someone else, because Ben's by himself. So if he has an idol and votes for one person, that's enough. All you have to do is block it. You won't beat it, but you can block it, and then you have control.
Yeah, and especially if he doesn't play the idol, you'll get a 1-1 tie, and then you just all dump your votes on Ben.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know. Eventually, we see Ben find this arrow with a little box of arrow pointing down. When I heard that they were going to be doing this with the season, putting clues and all that, I didn't think it was going to be this easy. Look for a clue telling you where it's at. I thought it was going to be an actual map like they did at the beginning, which it wasn't as hard as I mean, unless you're Joe at the beginning thinking that.
It's under the raft. in the water.
I gotta say, I wasn't here for the last month. I gotta say, Joe did grow on me, and I was upset that he went home when
Me too. Did you listen? Did you see how much Joe grew on me? I was team Joe, and it didn't hurt that he's hot. So
Speak for yourself. Oh my god.
All right. So, are we missing anything before we go to Tribal Council here?
No,
because they left us in suspense.
He found the freaking idol right there in the shack. I mean,
he covered it up with his hat.
Standing there.
Did you? Well, we didn't really see. We didn't really see that he got it. But I mean,
it was obvious. He was untying something, and he covered it up with his hat.
Oh, I must have missed it because I wasn't sure. I was like, yeah, we're getting like a Micronesia thing going on.
I don't think they showed
it because they would have showed him not. I knew it was going to be like the reveal at Tribal.
Well, but so what I was hoping was similar to what I said earlier, where, Ben is so prevalent and Ben is so paranoid that I was really hoping that because they love to fool us so much that we were going to get fooled. Like they were going to just leave us there, and then it was like the actual blind side was that he didn't find it, which would have been like sort of a wet fart, but like at the same time, I wouldn't have expected it.
So let me ask you guys this again now. Would you prefer to see him actually get it, or were you okay with not seeing him get it?
For me, it didn't make a difference.
Doug?
I would have loved if the one that we didn't see him find that he wore was a fake. Yes. That's where a fake would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That
necklace so much really like fake. The one he made.
It did. It really, really did.
I had to look at it twice. I'm like, is this the one he made?
So let me ask this. Do you guys like the simplified idols that they
it literally looks like something they bought at Michael's. I don't know if you guys have Michael's by you.
Yeah, I do. I go back and forth because we're going to get to this, I'm sure, because there's one thing in this episode that really ticked me off more than anything in a long time. Hint, it's Jeff. But I don't mind that they look cheap because of what could have happened that Jeff didn't let happen. Because Ben made a fake idol that looked pretty convincing, and then they've already seen that he's done that. Mike made a fake idol, which we learned about. So everybody's making fake idols, and the harder it is to tell the difference, the more likely we are to get that moment where people call the bluff. And I think that almost happened, and we didn't get it. Yeah. So I go back and forth because I like fancy idols. I think they look better, but we almost got it. It almost paid off finally to have cheap-looking idols, and Jeff ruined it.
He did because he shouldn't have said crap.
I think Ben messed it up to begin with by telling everybody else that he made a fake idol, and then because of that, he had to admit to having a fake idol, right? So now he has an idol, and this is where I feel why the reason we didn't see Ben get the idol is because he disarms himself right away. He actually shows everybody that he has an idol and plays it beforehand.
What do you guys think of this?
It aggravated the crap out of me.
I didn't think he could do it.
I think it's fine, but Jeff ruined it. He ruined it so bad.
Yeah.
I wish he would have done what he did with
Holloway, right?
Yes. Where he would have said, I can't tell you guys if this is real or not.
Yeah.
Well,
it would have been better.
Well, because I think Jeff has a blank for Ben. And that's what it is.
But here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing: is if he says I can't validate this yet, I can only tell you guys afterwards. Then they can all still vote for Ben, and Ashley can still go home because he's gonna vote Ashley or Mike.
Yeah.
But don't you think if in this era where everything is all about big moves, and these shocking moments and these blindsides, I feel like Jeff, if I'm Jeff and I'm a producer, Jeff didn't just make a mistake. I feel like he ruined a TV moment, right? Because Devin didn't believe it was real, that he wasn't going to play it, right? Something about it they were not sure about. And I actually think he kind of ruined Ben's move a little bit by revealing that it was real. The confusion was no longer gone, or no longer there. Everybody knew exactly where everybody stood, and I think Ben stood a better chance amidst the chaos.
Just Jeff was so desperate for Ben to be safe. I think he just needed to just declare to the entire cast that, you know, Ben is safe. Even if you vote for him, it doesn't count. And, you know, that's his kind of his only way out to protecting Ben.
Here's why I don't mind it.
Yeah.
That happened. If someone actually gives him a fake idol and gives it to him beforehand, he better not say it's fake.
Yeah.
He better not say it's fake. He better say next time,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say this is real or not, whatever. Because then people might not vote for that person, and then that's an effective use of a fake idol. Later on, when they go up to vote, he could then throw it in the fire. But then I think that would be the best way to use that, or best way to actually use that move.
One, I think you have to be consistent, right? Because I see Patty talking about how, you know, the Mike idol was a fake idol, right? Like Mike played it because he wasn't sure if it was real or not and asked Jeff if Jeff could verify. But I think that's exactly why Jeff has to be consistent, because if he's only ever going to validate real ones, you know the ones he doesn't validate are fakes.
Yes. So let's talk about, I mean, Ashley gets voted out. I mean, with 3 votes, I think it is.
Wasn't it like
2-1?
I think it was it. I thought it was everybody.
I
don't remember.
I thought it was everybody, and then I guess Ashley obviously did vote herself out, but I thought it was everybody but Ashley.
I'm coming.
So
here we go. Yeah, everybody voted for Ashley.
Okay,
Yep.
so let me ask you guys this. Devin voting out Ashley. Good idea, bad idea, good for him, or was it a mistake?
I think that he really didn't have a choice. I think Chrissy and Ryan were voting out Ashley. And I think Ben was okay with voting out Ashley. Devin didn't have the number to keep her. So it kind of put him in the predicament where he had to do what Ryan and Chrissy wanted. There was no alternative.
But if he doesn't vote for her, he keeps Ashley as a number no matter what. Right now,
I think he like put himself in that situation. I think given the circumstances he put himself in, he kind of had to vote for Ashley. But I think one play back, if he hadn't cuddled up so close to Chrissy and Ryan, and he was on the end, if he had somehow tried to act more confused or surfer bro it up or whatever in that moment and play blindside like Ashley did, then he could have gone back to camp and said, like, I was so flustered at what Ben did that I threw a vote out there. And we had talked about, although that's risky because numbers, that he could have maybe gotten away throwing something somewhere else, except that he cozied up too much.
So Patty earlier had said that the Ryan, Chrissy, Devin alliance is all fake, that Ryan and Chrissy want to take Dr. Mike, which I would be really surprised if they actually take Devin, because I don't, unless they're not seeing how Devin's playing at all, Devin would definitely beat him, I believe. Now with this vote, I don't know. I think Devin might be turning himself into a little bit of a villain with everybody there, but because I don't know if everyone's actually seeing the way he's playing.
Yeah, I don't know. I would personally take Mike if I was them over Devin, but I don't necessarily know that Devin could beat everybody but Ben. I don't necessarily agree that he can beat Chrissy or Ryan.
I think he could beat Ryan. I think he could be Ryan. Chrissy is a little bit of an enigma, I guess, of a mystery if he can beat her or not, only because we don't know how that jury is going to vote. And they might say, look, she won, what is it, 3 immunities now, or is it 2 immunities?
2.
2? And she's been able to take out a lot of the big people, right? I mean, of course, it's been with an alliance and all, but
yeah, but it's been with Ryan. So Ryan Ryan is smart. Isn't Ryan in law school or something like that?
Yeah.
He's not just a bellhop. So Ryan will be able to articulate himself very well at Final Tribal. I think he will have no problem saying the moves he's made. And the difference is Ryan isn't as disliked as Chrissy.
But the question is, do they credit Ryan with the same moves that Chrissy made?
Yeah, but Ryan could say
Chrissy.
he did them, but he just didn't fight about it. He didn't
But let's remember,
argue or
Aubrey-
put people down.
That didn't work for Aubrey though. Remember?
No.
Right, and I think I think Ryan is relying on metagame to win this game. I think Ryan thinks he needs to sit next to Chrissy because he can Cochrane and Dawn it and have everybody, go after Chrissy when he takes credit for the same moves. But I think one of the differences is people saw Cochrane and Dawn doing things together. I think so far, with how much people have been hating on Chrissy, they're giving her a lot of credit. And so as long as they're not super bitter, which they very easily could be, especially if Mike is sitting there, I could see Chrissy pulling it off. I think one of the worst things that Ryan could do is bring Mike, but I think Chrissy should want to bring Mike. I actually think Chrissy and Ryan should have completely different interests in the third person who sits with them. And that's going to make it really, really awkward.
Yeah.
So we see Ashley look really mad at Devin when she gets voted off and doesn't even want to give him a hug, and she is really upset. But if you've seen her Ponderosa video, she says she pretty much that's already whatever happened. That she would have done the same thing if she knew what was going on. So she would have probably done the same thing. I mean, so I don't think that he actually lost. Devin actually lost her vote. I don't know if he has it, but I don't know if he lost it. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anything you guys want to touch before we wrap up here?
I still think it was wrong to go after Ashley. There were still plenty of other targets left. Right now we have 5 at least semi-strong players going into the finale, and you can't take out all the threats. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Do you guys want to do a little, what's it called?
Can you put up the Randy's draft?
He didn't give it to me.
You need it so you couldn't just use like the picture, right?
Yeah. So who had Ashley?
I did. So
all right,
I can say my goodbye to Ashley. I liked Ashley. I was glad I picked her on my draft. I think that in the past few weeks, she definitely moved up her game and was playing. Granted, it might have been a boring game and not TV game, but she was strategic in her moves. She tried more than one time to get rid of Ben, and nobody listened. If you're vibrating, that's my phone. It's the phone. So it stunk to see her go, but I understood the vote. I mean, Ben won the immunity idol because nobody went to look for it. So stinks to see her go. I am losing the draft by 3 points. Mark has 136 points, and he still has Ryan, Chrissy, and Ben. I have 133, and I only have Ryan. I know that. Oh, somebody got it up.
I got it.
Thank you, Mark. Randy has. Mark, why don't you say the rest? Because if you talk, you'll stay up. Go ahead.
All right. So right now I am still in the lead. Blah blah blah. Okay. Wait, got it. Is this still up?
Yeah, it's still up.
Okay, so I'm in the lead with Ben and Chrissy still in the game, and I just, because of Chrissy's immunity win, I came ahead this episode by 3 points over Kim, who just lost Ashley and has Ryan left, and Randy's still in the game with Devin, which is still a very possible winner. Saul is now looking at Mike taking him over. Yeah, so
I think the goal for me is not to lose to Mike.
Better hope he doesn't win the game.
I know, right?
By the way, guys, I missed Blake came in here and he says that he's so disappointed in the season, but he does love Ashley's Ponderosa video.
I guess we have to talk about next week.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say I have mixed feelings about the season because at the beginning of the season, I felt it kind of started a little slow, especially with my favorites getting voted out so early. And then towards the middle, I started getting like, oh my God, this is going to be a pungonging and this is going to suck. And then all of a sudden, the top, 7 get uprooted, but then that didn't even last that long. So I like this the season. I don't think it's a top season for me.
Oh, it's definitely not a top season for me.
I mean, that might change with the finale, but you never know.
But I'll always take a bad season of Survivor than no season.
Yes. I think this ends up being one of those seasons, and this is not a hot take because I think I've seen it elsewhere, but I think this is one of those seasons that ends up in the camp of like Gabon, or like one of those seasons where like people just make so many mistakes and it's so like character driven that like it has a place. And if you're all about, you know, like the messy character, this is perfect. But if you're all about strategy, like, yeah, there's not great strategy or great gameplay.
This season is that cousin that never got his life together and shows up to Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you don't know why they're there, but they're there. They're family, but you love them. What do you guys as MVP? Before you guys answer, I'm sorry, Randy sent me his pick for MVP, which is Chrissy. She said she won both challenges, got out the person she saw her biggest threat, made a strong final 3 alliance. I think she's got 2 final 3 alliances. She's also achieved her goal of being the last woman standing. Was that her ultimate goal, to be the last woman, or is that just something we're picking up?
I don't think she said it.
I don't think she's ever said it, but I think that her goal was to take on every woman.
Yeah, well, I think just by her deeds, I think we figured that out. Do you guys want to do a little quick thing real quick? I'm gonna ask one of you to see who you think the best final 3 for that person would be, and you guys tell me for each person, right? So I'll start with Doug. Doug, who do you think the best final 3 would be for Devin?
For Devin, I think his best chance would be to sit next to Mike and Chrissy.
Oh, you don't think Ryan would be a good for him?
I worry about Ryan because I think if you put Ryan next to both Chrissy and Devin, Ryan gets to claim that he brought his 2 closest allies from the beginning to the game. So he gets to sit there and say, like, on day 1, I made this alliance with Devin. I'm sitting next to Devin. On day 1, I got to make this cross-tribal alliance with Chrissy. I'm sitting next to Chrissy. So I think something in Ryan's plan would need to break down, and I don't know that would work. I think there's just enough discord where Mike will look like a lunatic. Chrissy might get, people angry at her. And if Devin can just be clear-cut, be a bro, be someone everybody likes, that might be the right environment for him.
I agree 100% with what you said.
Mark, what do you think?
I'm okay with that, yeah.
All right, so Kim, what do you think the best final 3 for, let's say, Mike would be?
You have to give me Mike?
All right, I'll give you your favorite player.
If I had to pick...
I'll give you your favorite player. Go ahead with Ryan.
All right, Ryan. I do. I really like Ryan. Devin and Chrissy. I think those are his best choices to go to final 3. I would say Mike because I really think anyone could beat Mike. But the only reason I don't want to say Mike is my fear is that if it can be perceived as they dragged Mike to the final 3. So we're just going to give it to him now because you basically dragged him there. And I don't want that to happen. Even though I think that anyone left can and should beat Mike, I like Mike, but I have to separate gameplay from who I like. I can't stand Chrissy, but Chrissy should beat Mike in final 3.
Mark, who do you think Chrissy should go with?
Chrissy should go with Ryan and Mike.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's her only way.
I think she might even have a chance with Devin, but that's way too big of a risk to even think that you can beat Devin without knowing how that jury's going to vote.
Yeah.
And if she does think that she could beat Devin easily, then she is misreading everybody out there.
Exactly.
Let's go back to Doug. Do we even have to do Ben? I think Ben, if he goes with anybody, I think he might win, right?
I think if Ben sits next to anyone, I think he wins. I think Ben is the only thing making this final 5, and I would even say maybe final 6, not a completely unpredictable final 6. One thing that's so cool about this is that every single combination of final 3 for everybody has a plus and a negative, like a huge pro and a huge con, except Ben. So Ben could sit next to literally anyone.
He can and he should win. I mean, if they take him to the end, they deserve to lose.
And
but again, you don't know what's going to happen behind the scenes to help Ben get there.
And I think
sometimes they say production interferes, and sometimes they say they don't. And the reason I think they don't is they let Sandra go. They should have just handed her an idol in the MVP.
They should have given her tiara. There you go.
That's it. That's her idol, the tiara.
Or they should make a rule that if you win Survivor twice, you get an automatic freebie once a season. So I don't think we have to do Mike either. I think we've all said if Mike, it's going to be hard for Mike to win against anybody because not because he's hated. I don't think he's hated. I think he annoyed some people, but I think for the most part he's been on the wrong side of the vote every single time. Except maybe this time I think he voted Ashley, but.
Mike's best chance, I think, is to sit next to Devin and Chrissy if and only if the jury ends up being bitter AF. Mike is like the ideal person to give $1 million to if you hate everybody on the island.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like the biggest FU is to be like, hey, this guy who's had no control over the game for like weeks, yeah, we're going to give it to him instead.
As much as I dislike Chrissy's character, I think I would be upset at that. Only because Chrissy did play admittedly, he did play a good game.
You don't even want to say it.
I agree with you 100% that I can separate it. I can say I don't like Chrissy, but Mike should not beat her. And it's just because I can separate it. And that's how you're supposed to play the game. You know, will I be devastated? No. But will I think Mike deserved it? No.
So Blake says Chrissy and Ryan is best for Devin. What he doesn't like about the season is that all the likable people got voted out way too soon, and the unlikable ones made it to the end. And you know, at the beginning of the season, I said, you know what? I don't see a lot of people I don't dislike. That changed pretty quickly, like around episode 3, episode 4, and a lot of the people that I really liked ended up already gone. Lauren was the last one I had there that I really liked. That would have I would have loved if Lauren won, and I'm pretty sure she's coming back pretty soon.
Yeah, my final hope is with Devin. So
I don't know how to articulate this, but I don't think Devin has as good a shot of winning as so many other people do, and I wish I could put it into better words.
I agree.
But there's something about it that makes me feel like Devin doesn't really have that great of a chance.
His game is not that visible.
I don't think that Devin will beat anybody but Mike.
Who could you sit next to? Did we do Devin?
Yeah, somebody did Devin, and they said Chrissy and Mike, and I don't think Chrissy.
Yeah, I did Devin, didn't I?
The only person I think Devin could beat
That's so funny.
Mike.
And everyone would have to hate Chrissy. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Patty said like it's like Michelle Aubrey, and that's what I said. It's gonna be if Devin loses, it's gonna be a Michelle Aubrey kind of situation.
That would suck.
And like I said before, I mean, I'm not upset that Michelle won. I was upset more that Aubrey lost.
Yes, same.
And that might be the end of this season, but I don't know. The ending might be great. It might not be great. Jeff seems to think that the end of the season was going to be awesome.
That means Ben probably wins because, again, he said that for Ben all season.
Or somebody, I wish I could credit somebody, but somebody also pointed out that Jeff really liked Chrissy at the beginning of the game. It's probably a Rahap thing because it was during first one out. I'm pretty sure Wiggler had a lot of audio of Jeff talking up Chrissy big time.
Jeff talked a lot. Jeff talked very positively about Chrissy before the game started. That's for sure. Yeah.
So I think if you're gonna like play the metagame, which I don't think is necessarily reliable, Ben and Chrissy would be the people Jeff would be most excited about winning, I think. But I don't think he dislikes a whole lot of people on this cast.
No, I don't think so. I think he likes them all.
Do you think there's any way Chrissy would beats Ben at all? At all?
I think if Ben is I think Ben has the potential to pull a Culpepper towards the end and rub enough people, not all of them, but just enough people the wrong way where somebody can shed a negative light on him. I think the problem is I don't know that Chrissy's the one who will be able to shed that light. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think she's rubbed a lot of people the same way. Because the thing with Chrissy is that when she was on top, she was rubbing people badly. She was acting very arrogant, and the way she was accusing Ben of acting is the way she was acting.
It makes them such good rivals, right? Like I almost need them to sit in the end together because I need them to like sling at each other. I almost wish there was a final two so it could just be the two of them because then everyone would be like, you both did the same thing.
Yeah.
So how many jurors are there going to be? There's going to be
8.
So what if there is a tie? Maybe this is the first time that we get a tie vote with
we
Ryan.
spoke about this a few weeks ago that if there is a tie vote, the third member of the final 3 casts the decision. And
I think at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the merge, I had said it's probably going to be JP, Chrissy, and Ryan, and JP would end up voting for Chrissy, and I think this time around it's going to be Ryan voting for Chrissy with Ben.
Is there anybody of the other 3 between Mike, Ryan, and Devin who would vote Ben in a tie situation? Because I think 2 of the 3 would vote for Chrissy, and I'm not sure about the third.
You don't think Mike would vote for Ben just to spite Chrissy?
I think he might vote for Ben, but I feel like that one's harder to read. I think that's the one I'm confused about. I think Devin would vote for Chrissy because I think he's butted heads enough with Ben. I think Ryan would vote for Chrissy for obvious reasons. I just am not sure what Mike would do.
This is what I would love to see. This is if I were to see Devin, Ben, and Chrissy go to the final, and then get them a 3-3-2 vote, with Devin having to vote for Ben or Chrissy.
That would suck if you got votes and then had to cast the final vote.
That would suck so
Especially
much.
If it was one fewer, right?
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Before we leave, real quick, why didn't get your MVP, guys? Doug, what's your MVP?
I'm gonna go with. It's so hard because the past 2 times I've been on, I've tried to stick to the same strategy of who got what they wanted, and usually that's fine because people get what they want through, like in this season specifically, through really bizarre circumstances. They don't, I think Chrissy got what she wanted out of it, so I'm inclined to say Chrissy. But Ben was the one who made it happen. So I guess I'll go with Chrissy. She got what she wanted.
Kim?
I guess I'm going to have to go with Chrissy, too. I don't want to. I would say Ben because, I'll say Ben because 2 people said Chrissy. So I'm going to go with Ben because he did not give up looking for that idol. He didn't stop. He knew he was a target, and he didn't give up. So Mark? I'm giving Ben.
Yeah,
Mark.
So yeah, Ben. If he didn't find the idol, he's gone.
So Patty says MVP Ben, LVP Mike. I'm gonna go with Chrissy, as much as I dislike her character, and I'm gonna give the LVP to the rest of the 5 because they really did nothing to stop Ben from getting that idol.
Yeah,
they should have done more to stop Ben, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason I'm not giving Ben the MVP is because of bad gameplay by everybody else. And I think Chrissy, like Doug says, she actually got what she wanted, and I think is actually more other than Ben getting that idol. She was more in. She was this close to getting what she needed to get her final 3. To lock down her final 3. So. And actually, you know what? She actually got her player out. She got the player she wanted out. So no, she got everything she wanted.
Yeah, she got what she wanted out. That's who she wanted out, and that's who left.
Well, and I think the work had to be done to do it, right? Like, they already knew that Ashley was option number 2, and Devin didn't want Ashley to go, but it was already set up, so it's not like it was random.
Correct. And the thing is that Ashley had tried to set up Mike as the second choice, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it there. We're gonna be back for the finale next week. Hope you guys can join us, and remember to subscribe and return. And guys, if you're not catching us live, if you catch it live, you'll be able to join us in the chat. Chat is usually they usually don't fight. I think they're usually pretty.
You've removed me from the chat, so the most rambunctious one is gone.
Well, we had to get you on screen. That's why. So yeah, if you guys join us in the chat, you guys can tell us what you think. We'll talk to you guys during the show. Give us your thoughts. Remember to like the video, share it, let other people know that you enjoy the podcast. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
I just wanted to say that I love and miss my son every day. I didn't get to say that in the beginning.
Yeah, and everybody, let us know what you think about this episode and what you think of this season overall using hashtag Spyshack Podcast, and tag us.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much for joining us here in the Spyshack Podcast.
Bye-bye.
Good night.